Hey, and welcome to Star Wars 101. In this video, we're going to be talking about one of the most devastating lightside force abilities ever. This ability was called Sever Force. But before we get started, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment down below telling me what you think of this force ability. Now let's dive in. Sever Force was a non-lethal force power by which a being's connection to the force was temporarily interrupted or blocked from them with a wall of lightside energy, afflicting the target's mind. Or with more devastating versions, destroyed their connection to the force by killing the midichlorians of the target. According to the ancient Jedi scholar, Odin severing an individual's force connection was the most powerful attack a Jedi could perform. While intended to be an attack with usually irreversible consequences, severing an individual's force connection was not always permanent. When the affected being had the force restored to them, it returned as a painful and sudden rush of feelings, as the force immediately allowed the individual to sense everything around them at once. This was the case with Jedi Ben Skywalker, who had his force connection severed by his cousin and Sith Lord, Darth Caedus. Caedus had blocked his cousin's force abilities while holding him captive in the Yuuzhan Vong torture device known as the Embrace of Pain. In the times of the ancient Jedi, severing force connections was used as a means of punishment. In 3951 BBY, or before the Battle of Yavin, Jedi Masters Zez-Kai-El, Kavar, and Vurk Lamar attempted to use this power on Mitra Surik, but Kreia stopped them not by severing their own force connections, rather draining them, which killed them in their inability to let go of the force. Surik used the power on herself unconsciously, to shield herself from the devastating effects to those who could sense the force when the mass shadow generator was activated on the surface of Malachor 5, obliterating almost everyone and everything on the planet in the process. The severance was so utter and complete that Surik created a wound in the force in the process. She didn't know this, and at first thought the Jedi Council had severed her connection, and she believed that they had cut her off from the Force as a punishment for fighting in the Mandalorian Wars. According to the rumors Darth Nihilus told to Scourge, when the Sith Emperor was still a child named Tenebrae, he supposedly used an apparently dark side variant of Sever Force to strip his father, Lord Drameth, of both his powers and his sanity. When Darth Nihilus and his fellow Sith, Darth Sion, converged on their master, Darth Traya, in the center of her academy, Nihilus stripped her of the Force, casting her out of the Sith Triumvirate. After nearly falling to the dark side, Jedi Knight Kyle Katarn also severed his connection with the Force before returning to his mercenary ways. However, after his partner, Jan Ors, was seemingly killed by the Dark Jedi Desan and his student, Tavion, Katarn was driven by revenge and sought to re-establish his force powers by any means necessary, in order to present Desan as a worthy adversary. Kyle hastily revisited the Valley of the Jedi and restored his connection to the Force, allowing him to quickly relearn powers of both the light and the dark side of the Force, in a relatively short amount of time, though he admitted he could have regained his powers with years of study if he had not used the Valley. During her capture by the Yuuzhan Vong, the Foch ex-Jedi, Vergere, used this ability on Jacen Solo. Jacen was able to regain access to the Force by submitting to his rage towards Vergere and unleashing a barrage of Force lightning once he learned of the depth of her affiliation and apparent loyalty to the Yuuzhan Vong. In a very taxing variation of this technique, usable only by those with experience in battle meditation, the Force user could use the Force to sever a target who was heavily tainted or consumed by the dark side. This technique effectively caged the user's power within their own darkness and rendered them blind to the Force, though not dead to it. Nomi Sunrider used this technique on Ulic Queldroma after he killed his brother Kay on Ossus. Darth Plagueis was able to, over the course of his experiments, discover that this version actually functioned by killing off the midichlorians of the target, to such a degree that they could no longer access the Force. Though even while so crippled, it was possible for a Force user to become a Force ghost upon their death. A very large-scale and refined known use of this power was when the living planet Yuuzhan Tar used this power to damage the bodies of all Yuuzhan Vong, leaving their species effectively, permanently cut off from the Force. So that's it for this video on the Force ability Sever Force. If you guys enjoyed, then like I said before, make sure to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button for more Star Wars videos every week. Also, again, let me know what you think of this ability in the comments section. I'd love to hear your opinion. And with all that said, have a great day.